What's up, everyone? Welcome to the May 6th edition of DraftKings Tournament Plays presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at Prize Picks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We have a bigger MLB slate tonight. We have lost two games with the Philadelphia game being rained out and the Yankees game being rained out, but still plenty of offenses to look at, and ownership should end up being pretty spread out today. So as always, we're going to take a look at three of the top tournament stacks and three of the top tournament pitchers on DraftKings. Do keep in mind that in the top stacks tool and the top pitchers tool at the moment, we still have that the Philadelphia game. So these numbers will change a little bit. If you are an Awesemo.com subscriber, be sure to refresh those tools once they're updated. But the general idea here should remain the same. It shouldn't have too much of an impact on anything that we're going to talk about. So starting with the top three stacks on DraftKings, number three, the Atlanta Braves are projected for 2% ownership. They have a 5% chance of being the top scoring stack. This is a really interesting spot tonight against Eric Lauer. Lauer has been fantastic to start the season. He has a 2.25 xFIP. He has struck out 36.6% of hitters, which is the highest mark on the slate. The Braves overall have a 98 WRC+, but they also have a 166 ISO as a team, and they also have Ronald Acuna back in their lineup. This is a team that top to bottom has tons of power when you have Acuna at the top, Matt Olson, who hits left-handed pitching very well, despite being left-handed, Austin Riley, Ozuna, Albies, D'Arnaud, Adam Duvall, all of these guys have power. So if Lauer's not at the top of his game, you can certainly see plenty of damage done by Atlanta, even though Lauer, has been a very good pitcher so far this year. And there's just not much ownership coming into a team that has as much power upside as the Braves do. They also have a 4.3 implied run total tonight, which is higher than I would have expected in this matchup against Lauer, but certainly doesn't hurt to see if you're stacking the Braves. Number two, the Colorado Rockies projected for 1% ownership with a 6% chance of being the top stack. They're taking on Merrill Kelly tonight in Arizona. The Rockies have actually been competent so far this season. 108 WRC+, 168 ISO. Kelly has also been solid with a 3.38 xFIP and 22.8% strikeout percentage. The Rockies have a 3.9 implied run total tonight. Not the most exciting offense to stack. Certainly doesn't have the name value as, say, the Braves, who we just talked about, but they are projected for virtually no ownership against a pitcher in Kelly who is kind of a league average pitcher, if not maybe a little bit better. And number one, the Milwaukee Brewers projected for 7% ownership with a 7% chance of being the top scoring stack. They are facing the Braves. They also have a 4.3 implied run total. Jesse Chavez is expected to open the game for Atlanta and be followed by Spencer Strider. Strider has only pitched 16 innings above Double-A in his career. So far this season, he has struck out 32% of hitters, but he also has walked 18% of hitters. He has a 4.18 xFIP. He's just a bit of an unknown here against the Milwaukee offense that has a 108 WRC+ and a 181 ISO so far this season. Now, looking at the top three pitchers on DraftKings, number three, Logan Gilbert, 14% projected ownership, 14% chance of being a top two pitcher. He is taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. He is $9,200. Gilbert has a very respectable 3.47 xFIP, and he has struck out 24.8% of hitters so far this season. Tampa Bay does have the fourth best WRC+ in baseball at 114, so it's not an easy matchup for Gilbert, but there is plenty of upside. Number two, Eric Lauer. Mentioned him when we talked about Atlanta. Atlanta's not getting much ownership. I like getting to Brave stacks, but similarly, Lauer is only projected for 2% ownership, a 15% chance of being a top two pitcher. He's expensive at 10,300, and that's why he's unlikely to pick up much ownership. But as I mentioned before, he has the highest strikeout percentage on this slate at 36.6%. He has an excellent 2.25 xFIP. I don't expect those numbers to continue. His xFIP is 2 runs lower than it was last season. His strikeout percentage is much lower as well. Last season, he struck out 23.9% of hitters. This year, like I said, 36.6%. But he is also only 26. It's possible that he's made some adjustments and that you're going to see him be even better than he was going forward. As long as he's not getting ownership, I don't mind paying this price tag and just hoping that he beats more popular pitchers. One of those more popular pitchers, the number one tournament option on DraftKings tonight, is Kevin Gausman. He's $300 less expensive than Lauer at $10,000. He's taking on the Cleveland Indians, who are not a particularly scary offense. Cleveland, one of the weaker teams in the league on paper, at least. So far, they do have a 114 WRC+, but I would expect that number to drop going forward. And Gausman's been excellent so far with Toronto. He has a 33.6% strikeout percentage, 1.64 xFIP. He's yet to walk a batter. He's yet to give up a home run. He's projected for about 19% ownership with a 22% chance of being a top 2 pitcher. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks on DraftKings: number 3, the Atlanta Braves; number 2, the Colorado Rockies; and number 1, the Milwaukee Brewers. And the top 3 tournament pitchers: number 3, Logan Gilbert; number 2, Eric Lauer; and number 1, Kevin Gausman.